Cool. So, hey everyone, thank you for joining Ruby Monday, our quick little hangout to kind of talk about Ruby and do some coding challenges and bug Jesus so he can teach us more Ruby. So, thanks for joining. If it's your first time here, I'm glad you made it. Feel free to chat in the chat window. Don't be shy. You can turn your mic off and just say hi as well. It's very informal, and we'll just bring up whatever topics about Ruby. If you have some questions or something you're working through, maybe you're going through a boot camp or you're learning on your own and you're stuck on something, you're just curious, feel free to add it in the group chat window and we can chat about it. So that'll be pretty cool. So, hey, Christ, I'm going to pick on you just because I know you already. You got anything going?
Not honestly.
Any Ruby challenges you've kind of run into lately, or anything that has left you puzzled or want to learn more?
Nothing special, honestly. I'm just here to see what you guys doing.
All right. Well, I can share a little bit about what I had. Let me see. Does everyone know what a palindrome is?
No.
So let me. Jesus, you know what a palindrome is? I think you do, right? Probably
Yeah,
when I share it.
it's when you can read a word the same from the end to the start, from the start to the end. So it reads the same both ways. Is that correct?
Exactly. Ah, man, I lost my Adam. Is this Adam? Yes. Can you see my screen? Okay, cool. So yeah, exactly. So a palindrome is this, right? So wow would be a palindrome because you can read it forwards and backwards. Let's see. I can't think of many right now. I'm sure there's a bunch of them, but if we would throw that at our method, that should also come out as a palindrome. So there's a couple ways of thinking through this. We can solve this maybe using recursion. Does everyone know what recursion is?
Yes.
Hey, Base, sorry, I just saw you join in. I think you're in a car, but
yeah, I'm in my car.
Welcome, man. Welcome. Drive safe.
All right.
Yeah, don't code while driving. That might not be the best of ideas.
Yeah, that's not a great idea.
but feel free to absorb code while driving, so that's all good.
All right.
All right. So how about we just play around with writing a little method to detect if a word is a palindrome? Where would we start? Anyone want to take a crack? Let me see. Is it okay if I pick on you, Christ, a little bit, to open up your terminal and just kind of think through it?
Okay. Just.
Jesus, stop solving it already.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. What should I do?
Let's see. Okay, so let me see. Let's think through this first before we even start writing stuff. So we need to check if the word is the same forwards or backwards, right?
Yep.
And let's pretend. Well, what's some ways of solving? Like, what do you think we can do? Any ideas? Any thoughts?
I guess we should see what's the length, and then we should go over and like. Honestly, I don't have any idea.
No worries. So maybe, yeah, the length would probably be a good one, right? Like.
And then like divide it to half and like check first and last index. Or maybe
Okay.
I got it. We're gonna go like we're gonna divide it by 2, and then we are gonna go like check the number 1 index with the -1 index, and it's gonna work that way.
No, that's a good idea. We can try that.
I'm not sure anyway.
So that's one way of doing it. Open up your IRB or Pry.
What do you call that?
IRB or Pry?
No, the method name. I mean.
Oh, the method name. I don't know. Find palindrome or something.
Okay.
So let's say that before we even begin coding this up, let me share a little bit. Let me see, where is this? I'll just share my whole screen because then I'm always wondering what I'm sharing. So if we're trying to say, like, we're trying to feed this to our method, right, and determining if it's a palindrome or not. So let's go a method. So we want our method to return what?
Return the palindrome.
So how is it?
Okay, is palindrome or not? Yeah.
Exactly, right? Because the answer is going to be either what or what. Two options.
Yeah.
True or false. So what's our naming conventions if something's going to return true or false?
Like question mark at the end. Is. Oh no, we don't use.
Yeah. You can, I mean, but sure, the question mark at the end is what I was going for. So you can do something like it's palindrome. Or if you don't want to do the palindrome, you can just do palindrome, right? The question mark. And then we're going to pass in a what?
What, a string or a variable.
Exactly.
Yeah, like argument.
Yep. So you know what? Why don't you open up an editor instead of a terminal, and that way we can do it. Hey, Justin, welcome. So yeah, why don't you share an editor instead? That's probably a good way.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah, maybe go a couple lines down just so we can see a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. Can everyone else see?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, cool. Hey, Gary, I didn't think you had a mic. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just very quiet.
That's also an option. So, yeah, let's go ahead and I'm glad I know, that way I can include you in the conversation here. And same thing, Justin, if you have a mic, feel free.
What's a good convention for the name of the string or?
So what I'm learning about naming too. So you want to make sure, what are we passing it?
You're passing the palindrome.
Right. So I mean, you can really call it whatever you want. Like you can do word. If we knew we were passing words to it, then I would probably call it word. Like, is this word a palindrome? Something like that. And then just, this is not code related, but palindrome has an E at the end of that.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Understand.
It's funny. It's just, I'm trying to get better at naming things. It helps a lot when you're reading your code later.
Okay.
Okay. So, you know, right now we just wanted to, it's going to either return true or false, right? So now let's start thinking, okay, what can we start comparing? Any ideas?
I think first we need to downcase it, just in case if they pass in like a word that starts with a capital letter.
Very good idea.
May not match.
Perfect.
Yeah. What?
So what he's saying is, what if they pass in words, a word that has a capital letter, like if instead of just wow, W-O-W, we did capital W-O-W.
Yep. Downcase it.
Put an exclamation mark on the end, and then it'll do it in place. There you go.
Perfect.
And
perfect.
And we should go like. Maybe. Yeah. is the right thing to do. Should we like ish through it, loop through it, or?
That's an option, right? Let's think through it a little bit. What do you think we should be doing right there? So let's take the easiest option. Let's even start with before that. We know for sure that we're comparing what character to what character. So let me.
It's like the first to the last, the
Yeah.
second to the second to the last.
Exactly. So if we're comparing first to last, then how can we do that? Because if the first one and the last one are not equal, then why even bother checking the rest, right? And let's see. Let's go back to your terminal and let's see if that would work right there. So
Does word.first work if it's a string and not an array?
that's exactly why I wanted him to go to the terminal. Let's find out. You know, of course, we can go to the documentation and find out right away. But you know, why not break the terminal? So, Christ, or Gary, can you do a screen share also? Are you available for that?
I have never tried that.
No worries. So you can try setting it up, and if it works, then we'll switch to you a little bit later. What you do is on Google Hangouts, there's a green button on the top left, and you can choose what screen to share. So if you open up a terminal,
Let me
you can
try
choose
that
to
next
share that.
week because I've got like everything is so messy right now.
I feel you. You have no idea what my things are running right now, but no worries. So let me do it. Unless Jesus, you want to do some of this?
Oh yeah, it does. I just tried it. It does actually work on a string.
Nice. All right, so it does work on a string. So go ahead. What about word.last? Does that work on a string also?
Yeah.
At least on your version of Ruby, Jesus? Let me try my version of Ruby. Let's see, what can I guess I could just share everything. Let me open up a new window here.
I was actually an IRB console in my Rails project, so that's not straight Ruby, so that may cause a problem.
It might be like an active record thing. Let's just open a new thing here. Can you all see this one right here out of all the other ones I have? Okay, so let's try this out. Hello, word.first. Nope. So yeah, I think we have an active record thing going.
Okay, well it works in Rails.
There you go. It works in Rails. It probably is a, let me see, active require, what is it, active?
Active support.
All. Active support.
It's underscore maybe?
Oh, maybe. Yep. Now let's do word.first. Yep, it's an active support stuff.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So let's say
So if
we
we
did.
wanted to go down that road, then we could convert it to an array.
Perfect. That's exactly where I was going. So if this is a hello, then word dot to a, right? Oops. What did I do? Word. Undefined method. What's the thing to convert to array?
Like chars?
Yeah,
What was that?
cards.
Both of you spoke at the same time.
CHARS.
Okay, someone type it in the group chat because I got lost.
I did.
Oh, okay. I know what it is in C# now. There you go. So word.curse, can I transform it? No. Okay, so now we can do the word.first, word.last. Would that help? Have that available? All right, Christ, so let's go back to our method there.
Okay.
But you
Go
don't
ahead.
need to you don't need to do that. You can use indexing in a string, like if it was an array.
Yes, you can. So that's actually helpful because then you can use two things. But to use indexing, what will we need to know what?
Just.
So let me go back here.
The size.
So now
Why don't we just enumerate through the word and or through the string and make a second string that's the exact opposite of the first one, and then compare the whole thing. So we're only doing one comparison.
That's a good idea. We can do that. Now, what if we had a very, very long string? Would that take a task on it? The enumerator?
I guess it's even gonna be faster, isn't it?
Yeah. So what you're saying, that's a good idea. Where are you at? I lost my hangouts. What you're saying, Gary, is in mapping through the string and making a new string out of it, right?
Yeah.
And then just comparing them.
We have the reverse of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Word
So
dot.
cool. That's definitely a one way to do it. So let's go ahead and try that out. So why don't you copy that over to your terminal, Christ, and see if that works.
Okay. Oh, my bad. I should share my terminal first. Yeah, I don't have any. Sorry. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep. All right. Give it something else that's not a palindrome.
Like what? Yeah, it works.
Very nice. Let's give it something else. Let's see, because I love Ruby. Hold on. Disco, with disco. All right. See if you can copy this in there.
Copy what? Oh, over. Yeah. Okay.
Hold on. I don't know if I got the whole thing. Let me see. Hold on. Let me try again.
The whole thing? Seriously?
Let's see. Hold on.
False. It's false.
Isn't I copying everything? I don't think I'm able to copy the whole thing, but what I'll do is this. Let me see here. Where's mine? I lost it again.
I have shorter test cases that are pretty interesting that
Well,
we should break this code.
okay, so wait, is it?
Try this.
Hold on, I want to test this. There you go, Word. All right, cool. So let me see your code. I wanna steal your code now. You just did a reverse, right? So let me see. Where is this?
I copy
That
the start.
is palindrome, word, mirror, word. Mirror equals word dot reverse. Mirror. Okay, so it is palindrome. It is. Cool. So put it up. Is palindrome.
Yes, it should be,
It
but
should
it
be.
will return false. I believe. Or maybe not.
It will return false.
Yeah.
Why will it return false? I know the answer.
Yeah.
Because of the spaces.
Exactly. So how can we fix that, Chris?
I guess we should get rid of the spaces with maybe regular expression. What do you
Okay. It could be an option. What else? So how would you do it that way? I mean, Ruby has, again, such a nice language that you could probably do it simpler than using rubrics.
we can split it and then join it. That's another option.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's the better option to split it. But I don't know if it's going to be faster or not.
Well, try it out in your terminal.
Okay. Let me share the other screen. Let's do this. Okay, it's gonna work. I mean, no. Bad. Right. With exclamation here.
All right, try it out. And then try it out with Jesus' sample.
Just 1 second. Share the other screen. Yeah, the terminal.
So, yeah, so I can see that. So try it out with the example that Jesus put it up.
Would you need 3 exclamation points?
That's a good question.
Since the join, I mean, really, you only need the the exclamation point is going to insert the execution of that method or that operation back into the variable. The join would be the last one, so you're going to pass, like if you take it off a down case, you're going to pass that into split, pass the output of that into join, so I would think you would only need 1 after the join.
Let's find out. Let's try it. We'll try first if your method is working, Chris, and then we'll try getting rid of some of those exclamation points.
It seems it doesn't work. You can see.
I think you just had a typo in the palindrome. I think you put S palindrome instead of is palindrome.
Okay. This was not my.
Well, share your screen again when you have a chance.
Oh, you can't see that?
No.
No, I'm sorry. Just 1 second. You have it?
There you go. Cool. Let's try it out.
Let me define the method again.
So you have an undefined method split for nil class.
Oh, I forgot to put a dot.
You
No,
you put an extra dot
where did I do it?
right after the exclamation. Hey, base is no longer driving.
For now, off the
There you
road.
go. Or if you're driving, that's like the coolest car I've ever seen. All right, so let's see what's going on right here. What's our problem?
I can't understand what's the problem. Can you?
So why don't we just work with a downcase split line? Let's forget the whole method and let's just figure that part out.
Okay. Let's see. Let me fix it.
So so just go ahead. You have a word defined, so just do word whatever, make it a string. So word equals some kind of string. So again, let's not even do the whole method right now. Let's just do word dot downcase. So make word a variable. So word equals put it up.
Or I can like take the exclamation marks and put them on all in one variable. The word.
Yeah. So just let's start off with that, right? Just put word equals and then make it a string. No, not the whole thing. Just word equals. Let's forget the method right now. Let's just work on the one problem we have.
Oh,
which
okay.
is, you get it?
Yeah, I think I get it.
Cool. Don't worry if you don't. I don't get me anyway. So.
I don't know what should I do. To be honest.
So just do like a word equals and then do put it up.
Okay.
Cool. Now try what you were doing. Word dot downcase.
I think without the exclamation mark. I think that's causing a problem.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, but I don't know why.
Okay, so that's doing what you needed to do, but your word is still the same thing. So now try to see where you can put the exclamation mark and if it will work for you.
Right.
So pick a spot and try and see if it works.
No, we need one after the join because the join is the final method that runs.
Okay.
Yep. So why is that not working? Undefined method join for put it up.
We need it after the parentheses, I think.
Really?
Parentheses are gone now.
There is no join exclamation mark method for array.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah, that worked.
No, that didn't work. You're returning some.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what it is. So then simply put, you're going to need to reassign this variable.
Yeah.
Oh, to do word equals and then all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what was the other one? We do downcase, join. Oh, we need split.
Yep. So you're going to pretty much do word equals word dot downcase dot et cetera, et cetera.
So, sorry. This is gonna be the method. Final one.
There you go. Now try it out. You got a typo right there. You got a typo on the palindrome.
Wow.
All right. Now it's actually working. That's a good thing. Cool. So now you have this, right? It works. Now, what if, just to make it,
Oh,
what
hold
if
on.
you,
Is there no way to use the exclamation mark in that situation?
so even if we didn't have that, let's go ahead and just work with our word. Let's start a new array, a test array. So maybe something like A equals, and then do an array of some strings. So maybe a string A, a string B, and that's it. That should be enough. Cool. So now do a dot join, and let's, without an exclamation mark, and see if it does what we think it does. Cool. So it does it, right? So now we're not dealing with all these other splits or anything. Now let's just try a dot join exclamation. So what is Ruby telling you?
Define method, no method.
Exactly. So there is no method. Now you can write it yourself, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So why don't we try to write a join bang? How would we write? Let's say we really wanted this because we want to convert this online.
So, like a string, yeah. You override the string.
We could, but let's just write one for us right now. We don't need to go into the string class right now. But let's say if we did want it available across everything, of course we'd do it there. But let's just write one for now.
Okay.
What are you missing from that?
What I am missing for it.
We want it to be a. There you go.
I can share my. You want?
Well, we don't need to put the. I mean, we could just put join bang, right? Since it doesn't
Yep.
exist.
Exactly. So why don't you do Control C and let's just do it that way, join bang. Do Control C?
Control C.
Yeah, because right now you're still in the middle of typing that other method. You see how you have the 65 with a question mark and kind of indented a little? There you go, now you're back. Cool. So now, what is it going to equal?
Wait, what's the
Word,
okay.
word equals word dot join.
Perfect.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Or even we can do the word dot join.
Yeah, it'll return that, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Now try it. A dot join with a bang.
Sorry, my bad.
That look right?
What's wrong?
Control C out of it and just test it out.
Again?
Mm-hmm. So just do a dot join bang now. Private method join called for array.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh.
Yeah. Now let's see if it returned A though. Did we change A or we just returned it? We still have it. So how do you think we can figure how we would do this so that we mutate our A?
We put it back in the. No.
But don't we want to pass it in as a dot join bang? See, that's something that screws me up because I get how to pass things in with the parentheses, but I don't get how to pass things in when they're in front of the method.
Okay.
Can we pass reference in?
So why don't we look up how someone else has done that? We can look up one of the bang methods that Ruby has, see how it's implemented, and just kind of model it.
How we should do that?
Where will we find? Well, think of a bang method
Like
that's available. Which one?
Like reverse or?
Sure. Does reverse have a bang one on it? Try a dot reverse with a bang.
Ad has one.
Cool. Yeah. So why don't we try to look one up?
So,
So where's everything about how it's implemented, and where do we find it?
okay, Ruby document. Ruby.org.
Yep. Or I was just gonna say JesusCastello.com. But yeah. So let's see. Let's look up some bang method.
That's what API Doc says is the source for reverse bang, and I'm looking at that. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So reverses self in place.
Oh yeah, you're
Correct? And actually, the code for this is probably in hold on, let me check something. Keep losing my terminal. You want to give a little explanation on writing these, Jesus?
And which one?
On hold on, let me see. Give me 1 second. Let me just try something out here. So, I'm writing methods that would mutate the original.
Can you share the web page that you find the reverse method?
Yeah, Justin shared it there in the chat.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Is it having static value above the method that does it?
What was that?
Well, I noticed on the source code for this one, it has static value above the method.
Let's see, I can't see it. Static value above. So what are we trying to change here? Static value above. Let me try something, because actually I hadn't done this either, so I'm trying to figure it out with you. Where's my screenshot again? Keep losing it. So I'll share my screen along with everyone else so we can all do things. So let's see, join bang, word, and then we're trying to, actually let me see something else. Join bang, self dot join. So we're getting closer. Join bang self equals self dot join, and change the value of self. Why not?
You know, I don't think it will be possible because join is returning a different type of object.
And
So
maybe
you can convert an array object and force it into being a string inside the array class that will be where it.
and that's probably why it's not implemented
Yeah.
in Ruby. Does that make so? Let me just kind of go where I was thinking with this. So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So we didn't need to pass anything, right? Because what we're trying to do is return something for self. That's why if I do this, let's say I was trying to just do some other kind of method, tacos. Okay. If I did this, then I have to pass in something, right? So if I do let me change this, a equals angel, and then if I did def tacos word a plus. So if I do a dot tacos, it won't work. So I got to do tacos bang method A. What did I do wrong? Oh, word. Sorry. Def tacos. Angel loves tacos. But if I wanted to do it just like this, then I have wrong number of arguments. So if I just did F tacos bang, I could do self plus, let me try that out. I don't know if this really is going to work. I'm just pretending here that I know stuff. There you go. So now I have a method on what?
So
On self. So I don't need to pass in any arguments because the argument is the self, right? So we have, when we were trying to do our join, bang, that's why it wouldn't work because we needed to pass an argument. So then that's when we needed the self on there. But what Jesus was explaining is probably the reason why it's not even implemented in Ruby is because we're trying to mutate self into a completely different thing.
Yeah.
So, yep. If we weren't mutating it, can we return the same object? So let's do this again. Tacos. Self equals self plus loves tacos. Okay, what do you think? Would this work? Yes or no?
No.
Jesus?
No.
Man. So how can I make A now equal angel loves tacos? Why won't Ruby play nice with me?
Try the replace method. I believe.
Try return instead of self equals.
Okay, let's try. So let's try the return and then we'll try the replace. Return self plus, well, I don't need a return. That would just be the same thing as doing this. Because return is just the last item, right? But we can try it.
Yeah, you're right. But that's not going to change anything.
No, it's just gonna work, but it's not gonna.
But if you look at the source code for reverse bang, that's exactly how they're doing it. It makes no sense.
Well, let's see. Jesus mentioned something else right now. Try the
Replace.
Ruby replace method. Method. Is it a string method? What is it?
I believe it's a string method. A string and array method.
Replace. Replaces the contents and tenants of string with the corresponding values and other. So s equals hello s dot replace world. Replace. Okay. Let's try that out. Where's my terminal? So def tacos. What was that? The syntax? Okay, got it. Okay. Self.replace. Can I call myself on this? Well, let's see. Plus tacos. A.tacos. We have a winner.
And you don't need the self there, because when you call a method, it calls them by default on self.
But what if? But I called. Oh, I get it. So just
So,
not. I needed the second self, not the first self.
mhm.
Okay, so replace self. It equals. Suits this time. We got tacos. Wait a minute. Okay, so let's try this again. So def join. Can we replace a string, an array with a string? Let's see. Replace. What am I doing? I'm not thinking. Okay, so we were an array. We were passing in a, comma, b. Okay, and then the join does. Let's do x this time. A join joins it, and we were seeing if we can replace that. So x dot replace. Below. No, we can't convert.
I think
But you can implicitly convert it, right? So if you did a define, couldn't you change? Like, it won't let you implicitly do it because it's probably thinking that most of the time you don't want that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if you could actually redefine it as an array within the method.
But we're trying to replace what we submitted, right? We're trying to replace the self. So even if we define it that way, if we convert it inside the method, what we eventually want to get to is to replace an array.
Right, what I'm saying is if you define join exclamation mark, and then you pass in like a dot that, what you're passing in, at the point where you're passing it in, a is an array.
Mm-hmm.
But what you want to return is a string. So you need to explicitly, inside of that, convert it to a string.
Okay, so let's do self to string, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we call bang method on a toString. I forgot. Well, let's try it out. Let's see what happens. And then after that, wait, that's fine. So x is x.toString. There's no bang method.
you can do ls array or ls string to see the methods.
We have a reverse bang. toString. I don't know. Any ideas? Anyone else? We're totally not doing palindromes anymore, by the way.
But we're learning.
Right? That's the cool thing. You go down the rabbit hole, then you learn.
Hear me?
What was that?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Can you see my screen?
Hold on. Jesus, where are you? I can see your screen.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me explain what's going on. I think you are thinking too much about this, what you're trying to do. So a string, remember it choose a class, like if a class you can make yourself, okay?
Yep.
Like if I say cat or whatever or animal, it's just a class.
Mhm.
So where is the data for the string? Where are the actual characters of the string stored? They're stored in a variable that you can see. You can direct access. You don't have direct access because if you can change an array data directly, it will be a mess. You can do very bad things, right? So Ruby doesn't give you access to this.
Yep.
But when you do something replace, then this method has access to this. In fact, if you go to the source code or Rubinius, I like to use Rubinius when doing these things because most of the code in Rubinius is written in Ruby, not like
Okay.
the original implementation. So most people, the implementation that you are using is called MRI from Match Ruby Interpreter, and that's written in C. But there is this other implementation that's called Rubinius, and the main goal of Rubinius is to do as much as possible of the implementation in Ruby. It's not 100% in Ruby because there is some things that have to be in C, but many things like the classes are in Ruby. Okay, so if you can see one thing is that if we find here, you can see the capitalize and exclamation mark. What this does is called the regular, the normal capitalize method. You see, and then it calls replace. If you can see my screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. Almost all of the methods, question mark methods, call the normal method without the question mark. But the question mark, the exclamation mark version just replace or changes the elements directly with indexing.
Right.
So does that make sense? And what's happening is that the data on the string is stored, but you can, like I explained, you can have access to that. Ruby protects its data. That's why you can do self equals something because it will not make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But you have methods like replace, and Ruby also gives you the exclamation marks method that already do this for you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look another, let's find another. I had another interesting one. See, don't case returns also uses replace. Don't case exclamation mark.
Mm-hmm.
Also replace. What else we have? Let's see. This is the string class with the reverse. Can you see the reverse? Reverse just calls reverse exclamation mark, but with dupe. And dupe, what it does is copy the object. So what it's doing is giving it a copy, and reverse exclamation mark will change this copy. So that's how it works in Ruby.
I don't understand how you can have a Ruby interpreter written in Ruby. Like that doesn't.
Yeah,
That
it's
seems
very
kind of strange. Like it's interpreting itself while it's running.
yes. It's very common in programming language. It's called a process. It's a process called bootstrapping. You can not the bootstrap framework for CSS. It's something else using. I will type it for you. It's called bootstrapping, like Angel type. And that's a process that you first write your programming language in another programming language, okay, like C. And then when your new programming language is more advanced, you can write the compiler and the different parts in itself. And then you do this bootstrapping process and you compile the language, compiles itself. So you write the parser, compiler. So now we are getting into compiler theory that it's its own. There are very big books about compiler theory, so I can explain in like 1 minute. But
Okay, we'll give you two. We'll give you two.
but the idea is that with a programming language is you have to convert the syntax into one thing called tokens, and then you convert these tokens into one thing that's called abstract syntax tree. I will type that for you if you want to Google that, abstract syntax tree. And with that, it can be interpreted as a program. So these things you can write in the language itself once the language is finished or very advanced.
So what's the benefit of having Ruby interpret itself? Isn't C faster?
Yes, C is faster, but the benefit is that it's easier to work with. You are working with your own language, so you can develop the language with your own language.
Oh, so Ruby people can work on Ruby. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. So if you want to add a new method to Ruby, like to the string class, instead of writing a C function, you can write a Ruby method.
Right.
So that's the main advantage. But yes, in general, C is much faster.
Very cool.
So is
So-
Rubinius much slower then?
Well, there are a lot of optimizations, and the core that runs the code. So there is one thing called the virtual machine, and this is like the interpreter, and this is done in C. It's the only part of Ruby News done in C. So that's it can run almost as fast as the regular Ruby. And it uses one thing called LLVM. So you have another term for Googling.
Yeah, basis, working out pretty much your problems, fixing your own self.
Right.
All right, cool. So, yeah, dot join. This is pretty much every hangout, huh, Jesus? We think we're going to talk about something and then we just go off the deep end.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, let's see. What else can we do? So we were still doing palindromes, right? Imagine if we didn't have this niceties of Ruby.reverse. I'm gonna share with you because if not, we're just never gonna get to it. Let me share a snippet of code with you all. Maybe someone wants to try it, but let's see here. This is something I was playing with. Here, I don't want to show this part yet. Maybe I'll do something like this. Okay, let me share my screen again. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. So this is pretending that we didn't have this whole reverse thing, right? What is this doing right here? Anyone want to try to kind of explain it? This is something I wrote, and it's assuming that we don't have reverse and we can't do that, so we're just kind of doing something here to figure things out. So let me see if I can get this running. This palindrome, and this would fail with Jesus's quiz, I think, also. But that's fine. We're going to pretend it doesn't. Is it Sublime? Oh, I don't want Sublime. Let me open up Atom. Sorry for messing with the screen here. Ruby. Weird.
You need to print the result.
Adam does that, yeah. Yeah. I forgot about Atom Nut. There you go. It's palindrome. False. Okay, cool. So anyone want to walk through a little bit of what this is doing?
You're using recursion. I like that.
You like recursion?
Yeah.
I like recursion too. Okay, so let's see. Let me go back to my screen here. So, well, let's see. Base, you want to take a crack at reading through some of this code?
Man, I have no idea what any of this is.
Oh, no worries, man. then we'll walk through it. Gary, you want to try? So let's go line by line. Let's just go line by line.
Can I make a suggestion first?
Yeah, of course.
Can you put a blank line before the if and after?
Oh, sure.
So it's easier to read.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
Is the text big enough?
Well, if you could make it a bit bigger.
There?
No, yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, cool. So let's go piece by piece. So this one you already did, right, Chris?
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
Waiting. Word.
Yeah, so I'm just turning it into what?
All right.
Right. And if the first and last one are not equal, do I need to continue checking?
No.
Exactly. So the first thing I'm doing is, unless the last and first are equal, then don't even check. And then this method, all it's doing is a very simple comparison, right? I don't want complicated methods, so all I wanted was to do, let me compare two letters, and if those are, let me see if they're equal or not. So, and if they're not, right off the bat, I'm returning false.
Is there a specific reason you use a method instead of comparing directly?
Just readability. Just because I like how it sounds.
Okay.
Nothing else, really. Just because when I was working through this, I was doing a bunch of other stuff, and so I just wanted to be able to say, are they equal, yes or no, last and first. But yeah, you can definitely do, are you just talking about calling it directly right here?
Mm-hmm.
So that, if I didn't use another method, oh, and it's because I'm using it twice also. That's another reason. I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then I would have to do it again right here.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm typing more, but still, yeah, whatever. But let's do it this way then, just so we can.
But you know what you can do to have less duplication is change your method. So instead of passing in A and B, you pass in word array and have it grab the first and last inside for the comparison.
Perfect. We could do that too. So last and first equal, pass in the word array. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And then right here, I'm going to do word array dot first, word array dot last. I like that. And then right here, I
You
would
know,
do.
you know how to do multiple selection in Atom?
I do actually.
Yeah, that's really useful.
I just like stressing you out, Jesus. I keep wanting to save because I'm so used to saving my work immediately after I type something. So let's try this again. Cool. So it's working again. I like that suggestion. Thank you. Okay. So so here we go. Right. So unless the last and first are equal of our word array, then why if it's less than 4? And again, my code. This is my code. Feel free to criticize it, but just so we can follow the thinking here.
Why are you splitting?
Because why I'm splitting? Because honestly, the main reason is because this was going into C#, and in C# I only had characters, arrays to work with. I didn't have the Ruby stuff.
Okay.
So just to kind of make it easier on myself when I converted this to C#, I worked with arrays.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know in Ruby I didn't. I could have just worked with a string. Okay. So if it's under 4, then let me think. So if the first and the last one here are equal, do I need to continue checking if it's already 3 characters? Does the middle character matter what it is?
No.
Exactly. This could be X, this could be Y, this could be A. If I'm under 4 characters and the first and the last are equal, then I have my answer, whether it's either going to be true or false. I don't need to continue checking, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm doing here.
But I have a question.
Sure.
Do we really need the second line, like the return false? Because like we already checked that if it's under 4 letters, so isn't it extra work?
This one?
Oh, sorry, I get it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just doing this right off the bat because if this was a super long string,
Yeah.
I don't want to continue working if W's, the first and last, are not the same. I don't even want to bother going through all this, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then what is this doing?
That's looping through and matching the second character with the second from last, third character with third from last, and so on.
Exactly. So now this is what Jesus said. What do you call this?
Recursion.
What is the problem with a recursion, Jesus?
Yeah, Stack Overflow.
Haha, yes. So this works beautifully, right? And I was going through this and I was running, I thought I was doing good, like, okay, everything works. And then they threw, remember that string I threw earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you what happens. Hold on, where is it? Where did I put that string? If things freeze, don't get mad. So it's cool, right? We recursion. It's nice. Like, okay, we're calling it itself. It's like fancy.
Boom.
This is a 27,000 character string, I think.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna run it, okay? If I freeze, then the hangout's over, and just know that recursion doesn't work for everything. It was nice hanging out with you. All right, let's try this. Running. It's gonna continue running. My CPU is probably gonna start overheating. And it's just going to continue running until I get a Stack Overflow. And my fans are starting to go now. You probably can't hear them, but my fans are starting to act up. Why is that? Why does that problem occur, Jesus?
Because the stake space is limited. Your memory, if you run out of memory, and it's also because the call stack is limited to a certain amount. So
Yeah.
when you call a method, the method is put in a call stack.
I just want to share my CPU right now. Okay, yes. Good. So this was my problem, right? Like, yes, the method works, like the algorithm works. But since I'm calling it and calling it, it has to keep in memory what the last result, right? So that it can build it back up to give me my answer. And it just wasn't going to work. So if you don't do a recursive approach, what's the other type of approach? Anyone have an idea? What do you think, Chris?
Oh, yeah, I was doing another thing.
I think you have to do it sequential, so you're not going to run out of memory.
Yeah, pretty much. You gotta take a different type of approach. You gotta take an iterative approach. So do you realize that this still isn't done? Like this whole time, it's still not done. It's still going. And that was interesting for me to learn, kind of just to actually see it work, because I got this as a string to test with. Like everything was fine when the string is only so long, but our program should work no matter what. So this is still going, okay? Now we can.
But see, that's because you did it in Ruby. If you'd have written that in React, it would have been done instantly.
I wrote this in C#, and I still got Stack Overflow. So let's see here. Where is this? Let me try something else. There we go. Can you see that? And taking your suggestions right here, I'm going to replace this with just word array. So let's see. This is my non-recursive version of this.
Is it still running?
Yeah, it's still running. Hold on. I don't know if can you hear my fans at all? I don't have.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, my fans are going crazy. It's still running. Look at this.
Kill the process.
I should. I just wanted to say Stack Overflow. Wait. Will it kill my stuff right here? My atom? Let me save this just in case. Palindrome, Ruby, M. Okay. So let's kill this process now. So it's still going, just so you know. How long have we been playing with this? And it's still going. Quit. Yes, I want to quit.
Look how much memory.
Oh, yeah. Exit it. Cool. I think I finally quit. Yes, so that wasn't going to work. So now let's compare with a non-recursive. Bam. It's done.
That was fast.
Let me check it out again. Bam. Isn't it ridiculous what the difference is? Like, I didn't expect it to be that big of a difference. When I ran it the first time in the iterative fashion, I thought I had messed something up where I was returning true too early. Oh man, my laptop is so hot right now. And let's play with this. Let's go somewhere like way deep into the string. Somewhere around here. Let's just type in Jesus. Let's see if you're still a palindrome, Jesus. Oops. I think I have something wrong right here. I don't want to pull up my C# version because I finished it in C#.
You were using in the last time first equal, you were using indexes. You had like word array X and word array Y before.
Yeah. Word array X, word array Y. But I was still comparing these, right?
Mm-hmm.
This should still be the same. We'll just make this how I had it so it's working. Oops. Wrong number of arguments.
The
Last.
third line.
Hmm?
The third line. You didn't change the bar one, like
Right here, right here.
where you compare the first and last one. After split. Above, like the second line, third line in the screen.
Oh, and this one?
Yeah.
Let me comment this out. I don't want that one.
Yes, that's right.
And then non-recursive. Okay, so now let me mess it up, see if it's working. Okay, cool. Now it's working.
Mm-hmm.
So now, again, let's throw something way deep in there. Hello. So it's still. Get rid of it. Sure. So yeah, all that just to explain that I figured out that recursive is cool until it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't know that until I worked with that super long string. So Jesus, question for you. This is
Okay.
me just asking question. When is it better to use recursive? Like, what scenarios are good use cases for recursiveness? You know, I like it. It's nice, like meta programming.
Mm-hmm.
When is it a good scenario to use it, considering the memory and potential for hogging up memory it has, versus just a regular iterative approach?
Well, small inputs. You can use it for the small inputs. If you know all your input is gonna be small strings or small numbers, then recursion is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also use for exploring a problem, and then you can convert it after solving it. You can convert it into an iterative solution after that.
Okay.
But what's the advantage of it? If it might go bad with big data, why we should do that? Why we should use that approach?
When you need to stress test your machine.
That's probably a good chance, right? When you need to know how hot your MacBook can get. Yeah, I was curious about that because I've always, like, whenever I see recursion, I think it's super cool until I ran into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. So, cool. So when you know that your inputs are going to be small, then go ahead, have fun with recursion. When you're exploring, go ahead, have fun with recursion. Otherwise, iterative.
I have another question.
Go for it.
Is this like loop approach gonna be faster than the one which we did before? Like Then we compare those two words.
Probably not because Ruby's probably using something similar, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So let's write yours. So Ruby comparing, and then let's do a word. So all we were doing here is word. That's really what we're doing, right?
Yep.
So if we do, you know what? I should have kept my string around. Let me get it again. So let's do Ruby comparing. And let's first do word B just to make sure that it's working. So that's false. Good. Let's do OLLEH. That's true. Okay. So let's see how it works on our long string right there. Super quick. So this one says it's 6.31, 0.32, point somewhere around there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's do non-recursive. Yep, so it's faster.
I mean, but we over there we do some other stuff too, like some other overheads. We join, we split.
Yep, true.
Most probably yours is faster.
So there you go. I mean, there's some other stuff happening, right? But yeah, this I was writing just keeping in mind, like if I didn't have that available. Obviously, in Ruby, why would you even do this? Just do this,
Yeah.
right? But it was just kind of a good learning exercise for me to do that. And this was just like a while loop, and then just adding to the indexes. That way I can continue doing that. And if I get through the whole thing without returning false, then it's true. So, yep. Anyone want to rewrite this one? Better way of doing this one? Jesus, fix my stuff.
I've got to jump off for the night, but Jesus had an all method last week that he showed us that would work there, I think.
Huh.
It's where the condition had to match.
I should have come last week, and maybe I wouldn't have cracked my head on that. What was your all method from last week, Jesus, that could have been used here?
Yeah, maybe that was the thing. I got to jump off, though, guys. I will
Yeah.
again next week.
Cool. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Christ, how'd you do with this one?
I'm fine. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
No. I mean, how'd you do in following what was happening with that one?
Oh, good. I mean,
Yeah.
I can understand the stuff this time. It's way better, but still, it should work.
Very cool. How about you, Base? How you doing with that? And I'm just replying to Justin really quick here, Justin. So the advantage of recursion when working with algorithms is that work with tree structures, basically meaning when you have a number of n number of dimensions to iterate. Cool. Yep. All right. Yeah, that's an interesting topic to explore. All right. Well, that's what I had. Jesus, you got anything you want to share?
Well, if you're not familiar with my blog, I have many free Ruby articles that you can find useful. So if you want to check that out,
Is there one that you would think would help in the conversation that we had today? Just so you have a bunch of good articles, but one that you think, hey, this one was probably a good one to read based on the conversation today?
I have one about recursion.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Let's see if I can find it. I'm trying to find it for you.
And you see, now we have it in a public forum that Base is gonna. Am I saying your name right? By the way, sorry if I'm not. Cool. But you know, you just publicly announced that you're going to be doing all the terminal work next week.
The
While he's
article-
driving.
The article is called Recursion and Memorization in Ruby, and I will post it if you will find that interesting.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, man. Justin, anything else that you want to share before we kind of start winding down? Or any questions? Let's see. Some solutions in a more complex one can only be solved reasonably with recursion. Oh, okay. I like that explanation. Cool. Well, I'm glad you joined in. Sure, definitely. That way you can jump in and scream at me or Jesus. All right. Christ, anything else before we wind out?
No?
Cool. Base, anything else? All right. Okay, Jesus, everyone, thanks again. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll hang out again next week.
Awesome. Deuces.
All right. See you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye.
The